we're heading back to Sainsbury's for another beer from the craft beer range there. This is a House of Pale, and it's by a Danish brewery called To Øl. I don't think that's how you pronounce it at all, but I'm sure there's someone who can. But let's see what this beer is all about. Keep on watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to be reviewing this beer. This is a House of Pale. It's a pale ale at 5.5%. Don't know much else about it. Doesn't say what the hops are, but we know it's from Denmark. And it's from this Danish brewer that I don't even know how you pronounce that. It says two, and then it's got this funny sort of Danish character, and then presume that's an I. I don't know what that means. I think that this. I don't know why. I had a quick look on the internet and I wasn't really getting very far with it. I thought, I'm sure you guys out there, my subscribers, viewers, let me know in the comments how you pronounce this and what this brewery is all about. But quite surprised, I'd never heard of this brewery before, and then they suddenly appeared in Sainsbury's, and it seems like Sainsbury's seem to be got some sort of route in from Denmark, because obviously Mikkeller, they've got a few beers in. You might have seen the recent one that I did from Mikkeller as well. And this is another Danish brewery. So I don't know why Sainsbury's seem to be going to Danish brewers to do that. But anyway, House of Pale. Let's crack it open, see what it's all about. 5.5%, good level of alcohol for a pale ale. But I don't really know anything more about it. I mean, I just wish that more of these brewers put their bloody hops on at least said what it was. It doesn't even say anything. It just says it's 5.5%, and it does say this at the front: light, crisp, and beautifully fresh. This is the pale ale to get your full-bodied, juicy fix. Okay, well, beer in a glass. It looks pretty juicy. It's very sort of orange. Very sort of more on your sort of American pale ale spectrum. It's not light and straw colours. It's more orangey. Looks pretty good though, doesn't it? We've got. I'll just top it up a little bit. Yeah, we got 2 fingers of sort of just off white head. Sort of got a slight orangey tinge to it, but I think that looks pretty good in the glass. Yeah, let's see what the aromas are like. Yeah, I mean it smells. It's similar to the Mikkeller one. It's got a very orange and passion fruit sort of aroma to it. I'd say the aroma was probably a bit better than that though. A little bit more pungent. And there's a little bit more sweetness in that sort of orange. You get a bit more of those sort of smaller Satsuma, Clementine, those sort of oranges. Smells pretty good. Let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, it's very similar to that. Flavour's a little bit more amped up though. There's a bit more complexity to the orange. So you get that sweet Satsuma sort of orange flavour. And you get a little bit of other sort of, more orange rind and sort of the pulp of the orange. And there's also a bit of passion fruit sort of going across it as well. But I'm not really picking up anything else. There's no sort of grapefruit. I'm not picking up any sort of bitterness at all. So I'm not picking up really pininess. None of that at all. It's very sort of orangey. Yeah, it seems like there's, these sort of beers from that sort of West Coast, they do seem to have that orangey sort of flavour. There's not much more I can say about it. Body, it's got a sort of medium. It's probably a bit more. Again, I'm comparing to the other Mikkeller, the Peter, Pal, and Mary. I'd say it's a little bit thicker in terms of its body, and the carbonation's a bit lower. So mouthfeel wise, it's much more smoother. It's a little bit more gloopier. It's less sort of fizzy in the mouth. But the orange is all over it, And as I say, you get that first hit of sweet orange, Satsumas, Clementine, even a little bit of mandarin orange. And then that sort of gives way to a sort of the orange rind, really. And I'm not, I sort of, I think I might have imagined the passion fruit. I don't think there's much passion fruit in this actually. Yeah, lots of orange. I think there's a little bit of passion fruit in there trying to come out. But I mean, if we knew what the hops were, we could probably sort of argue with that. I think it's a little bit better than the McKellar one. That was a gluten-free, of course. It's just got a softer body, this one, and that just gives it the edge, I think. The oranges and the flavours are a little bit more amped up. I don't know whether that's because this is obviously not gluten-free, so the flavours have got a little bit more punch to them than the McKellar one did. It's not bad. Again, it's more. It's not the sort of flavours. I don't really like that orangey, the big orangey hit in beers. I prefer the lighter, the tropical, the papaya, the mango, pineapple, grapefruit. A little bit more fresher. This is a lot more, as I say, the orange, it's an orange bitterness in there. And I'm going to retract that. It's not bitterness, but you get that orange rind and it gets to the edge of bitterness, but it just holds itself back. It's not bitter, but it's very, very orangey. That's what it's all about. Orangey beer. Yeah, orangey beer. That's what this one's all about. It's not bad. I mean, £3 from Sainsbury's. It's worth a try, isn't it? You know, if you like those sort of beer, there may be people that don't like New England IPAs. They just like pale ales and IPAs that are just not New England, not that sort of big tropical sort of pineapple and all those sort of flavors. They want something a little bit more grounded in that sort of orange and passion fruit, which, you know, to me is west. Pineapple and grapefruit, mango is east, and the orange and passion fruit and a little bit, sometimes you get the grapefruit in that as well, is more the sort of west. I think this is amplified a little bit because it's got the body on it is pretty damn good for a pale ale. Smooth, silky and velvety in terms of its body. It's not bad at all, but the orange I find can be a little bit overpowering in terms of the flavour. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for House of Pale by this Danish brewery that I'm not going to try and pronounce again. So this is a 5.5% pale ale. As I said, light, crisp, beautifully fresh, full-bodied, juicy thicks. It's very juicy. And to be honest, this beer is made a little bit better by it's got a lot more of a bigger wheaty, oaty sort of profile that makes it a lot more. The body's a lot better than a lot of pale ales. But we'll go through the scores. Aroma. So the first thing with the aroma, very similar to the recent McKellar Pale Ale. Orange. It's all about orange. Bit of passion fruit in there, but generally orange is the big aroma. And you get sweet orange and you get the sort of orange rind as well. But I'm giving it 12 for aroma. Excuse me. Appearance. Well, it's a lovely looking orange hazy beer. You can see that nice sort of, there's a head still retained a little bit, and there's great lace in the glass. So I'm giving it 8 out of 10 for appearance. Flavour wise, well, it's like the aroma. I'm gonna see, I've got something stuck in my throat. Like the aroma, is very orangey. There's a bit of passion fruit. And that's it. There's no sort of grapefruit on the back end. There's not much pininess or bitterness that you would expect from a more American pale ale from the West Coast. The orange is there and you want something more. So, but the flavour, I would say, is amplified a little bit by the body. It's very velvety, soft. It's got a pretty good body to it, to be honest, and very, very low levels of carbonation. For a pale ale, I think it's really good. So the flavour score I'm giving it is 32 out of 40. Value for money, well, again, £3. I think it was free. Yeah, I'm sure this was £3. It may have been £3.50. Supermarket power for £3 or £3.50 at 5.5% is pretty good. It's just a very solid 8 out of 10. And then my overall experience, well, again, it's a very drinkable pale ale. The thing for me is that it's got a nice soft body, and I really enjoy that in a pale ale. I mean, I say that I enjoy that in a pale ale. Some pale ales you want that light citrusy grapefruit freshness with a little bit more carbonation to be more like a more fruitier lager. This one is it's sort of the carbonation is dialed back quite a lot, but it's left with a very soft body, and because of that, I've nearly drank it. It glides down really, really well. What I would like is a little bit more than just that orange flavour, because it's so dominant, and orange always is. When you get that orange sort of flavour in a beer, it can over dominate any other flavours that are in there. I think there is I'm getting a little bit of pockets of passion fruit, but really orange is all the flavour. So it's a nice beer. I would drink it again because it's very easy to drink. So I'm giving it a 12 for overall experience. So we top those scores up, it's another recommended beer, 72. It's not bad, this beer. It's good without being great. It doesn't do anything different. I think if the body if it was a bit more fizzier and the body was less sort of smooth, it would have knocked back quite a few points, I think, because the orange is very dominant. But at the same time, you want a beer with full of flavour and juiciness. It's just the fact that it's only sort of orange, really. It dominates so much. But, at the end of the day, the proof, I think, is in any review that I do is when I've finished the beer, at the end of the review. And I think that that's a very good sign of how easy drinking it is. So 72, White Snake beer, slide it in slow and easy. I've already done it, and I haven't done it slow and easy. I've just slid it in fast and quick, if that's such a thing. Check it out. If you've had this beer from Sainsbury's, let me know what you think. Not bad. I mean, there's a lot more good craft beer in Sainsbury's than we ever had before. It's still a long way from getting to the Alpaca, which is, to me, is the best beer in Sainsbury's. The 505 by Tiny Rebel is not bad, although I've had it again recently, and I just feel that it's a little bit too. It needs a little bit a bit more liveliness. I don't know if if you've had that recently as well. I thought it had when I first drank it, I thought that the 505 by Tiny Rebel had a nice sort of soft, really sort of low levels of carbonation. That was good, but I almost want a little bit more carbonation. It seems a little bit sort of dull in its mouthfeel. But the Alpaca's still a great beer, and even today I went into Sainsbury's and I bought the Alpaca because I just think it's their best beer, and it's, for me, my favourite sort of core available beer in supermarkets. It's a really good beer. House of Power, where does that fit? Somewhere in between. It's My Little Sabrely was good. The C-Bomb was good as well. There's lots of good beers, but the Alpaca is just that bit level higher. So I've whittled on enough. Hope you've enjoyed this review. If you like it, please hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, then please subscribe. It really helps. The channel, we're growing. We're getting closer to the elusive 1,000 subscribers. We're getting very close to it. We're nearly up to the 700 level, which is amazing because it only seemed like 5 minutes ago we were celebrating the 500 level. Hopefully there's a lot more to come in July. We've got all these new beers that you should be seeing soon that we're going to be reviewing. And until the next one, you know what you got to do. You got to keep on rocking.